Hey, what's going on, Teal Nation? My name is TJ Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Two Teal Podcast, a podcast that talks about your Chants. And the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers have a very, and I do mean very huge matchup on Thursday night, nationally televised against the Georgia State Panthers. And both teams are riding waves of momentum, and it should make for a very classic matchup. You know, Teal Nation, to me, this might be the toughest game on the schedule for Coastal Carolina so far. I know they played against UCLA, but I really felt like the Chants had an opportunity in that game to actually maybe pull out the victory. I didn't think that UCLA knocked the socks off of anybody. I just think that it was a little bit of a change of pace when you seen Dante Moore come into the game. I think that kind of, confused Coastal a little bit, and opportunities that were there, unfortunately, Coastal weren't able to capitalize on. But over the last few games, you start to see an improvement of the Coastal Carolina Chants offensively and defensively. And, they had some issues when it came to the running game. Also, there were some issues with protecting Grayson McCall, which we'll get into a little bit later. But, all in all, we seen Duquesne come into Brooks Stadium, and it just seems like Coastal Carolina figured it out. I mean, they were clicking on all cylinders. The offensive issues that they had as far as the running game, the offensive line was amazing. And not to mention, they added a few more turnovers to an already impressive season, having 8 turnovers, generating 8 turnovers in a 3-game span. Teal Nation, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's pretty damn impressive. I mean, you don't see too many teams being able to generate those many turnovers. And when you have a quarterback that is as efficient as Grayson McCall, I mean, that's a recipe for success. I mean, getting a ball back into the hands of Grayson McCall, who is going to make the right decisions, rather it's, checking the ball down or, getting the ball to one of his playmakers, Jared Brown or Sam Pinckney or, some of his running backs, he's going to make the right decision. So if you give him more opportunities with the takeaways, he's going to take advantage of them. And the defense is going to have to be opportunistic in this game, because they're going up against a Georgia State team that is averaging about 39 points a game. And their quarterback, Darren Granger, seems to be one of the best as of right now. I mean, he is leading the Sun Belt in total offense. That's with his arm and with his legs. And he's putting up a very high completion percentage. As of right now, he's over 70%. So the defense of the Chants are going to have to show up, and they're going to have to get pressure on this guy. And also, you got to count on your linebackers to be able to make sure that, when, let's just say, for example, the Chants are playing man coverage, that he doesn't try to streak up the field there. So this is going to be a huge assignment for the defense of the Chants. You're going to have to tackle this guy. You're going to have to make some sound tackles. You're going to have to make some plays, because this guy really does not miss. And he has a really talented offensive team that accompanies him to Conway. And also, there's this great little nugget. This guy is actually from Conway. And y'all know, when you are from a hometown and you come and play sports, for all my people out there that do, you want to put on for your city, right? You want to show your city, that you are the guy. And that's exactly what Darren Granger is going to want to do. And once again, they have a very talented offensive team here. I mean, you think about Marcus Carroll right now. I mean, he's averaging 5.3 yards a carry. You want your running back to average about 5 yards a carry, so he's at 5.3. I mean, and once again, Darren Granger, I mean, he's second on his team in rushing. So not only is he hurting you with his arm, he's hurting you with his leg once again. And then you have a wide receiver corps where it seems like he distributes the ball to everyone. It's not one person that just has eye-popping stats here. I mean, you can say Robert Lewis, who is leading the team in receptions, and he has 4 touchdowns. But, I mean, you also have Talik Williams. I mean, he's at 203. You have Jakari Carter at 95. So he's distributing the ball. And also he's throwing the ball to his running backs and tight ends as well. So this is going to have to be a very disciplined game defensively for the Chants in order for them to get this victory. I know they're chomping at the bit in order to get back at Georgia State. It seems like, Georgia State has had Coastal's number. Of course, we know about the victory a couple of years ago. Darren Granger was the quarterback in that game, but he wasn't as experienced as he is now. But Georgia State still managed to win that game by 2. And I know that Teal Nation is chomping at the bit in order to get back at Georgia State, but it will not be easy. I mean, you look at these teams, they're virtually identical. I mean, I mentioned Coastal Carolina generated 8 turnovers. Well, Georgia State, they generated a total of 7. So they're like right there. It's amazing how these teams are pretty much identical. Both teams seem to be riding a wave of momentum once again, and both of these teams are trying to figure out ways to win. I mean, but it's not going to be easy for the Chants in this game, but I still think that they have what it takes to win. Number one, this is a game that was on a short week, and we know how the last game was where Coastal was able to beat Duquesne, beat them by 59 points. This gave you an opportunity to put some of the young starters in the game, and it also helped that you have a Thursday night game, and you didn't have to have your starters play from start to finish and try to get this victory. Coastal did exactly what they should have done, and that's dominate the game. Make sure that you get your starters out, get some of these young bulls some experience, and you'll be ready for a game with Georgia State, and you can pretty much leave this game unscathed. And that's what they did. A lot of the issues that plagued Coastal, once again, seems like they fixed them ahead of this game. The running game still needs to show up. I think that you definitely need to help out Grayson McCall. You look at Georgia State. I mean, this isn't an outlier when it comes to the turnovers. Last year, they had 32 in 15 games, 13 interceptions, 12 fumbles. So this is a team that is very opportunistic in their own right. So you can't just rely on Grayson McCall out there throwing the ball all over the place, because putting that ball in the air, they have capable playmakers. Now, they lose 6 starters on their defense, but you still have a really good linebacking core that can get the job done. And you know that their assignment is going to be to try to neutralize Grayson McCall. So this running game is going to have to step up. We need to see the same type of energy that they had against Duquesne, and they got to make sure that this running game is on track. I mean, Braden Bennett, C.J. Beasley, Reese White, these guys are going to have to run the football, and that offensive line is going to have to block. I'm very, very concerned about the offensive line play when you have such a talented defense. You got to make sure that you keep Grayson McCall upright in order for him to deliver the ball down the field. I mean, you got the playmakers. I mean, the Chants, they have the playmakers. We know that. We know Sam Pinckney. We know Jared Brown. I mean, we know, the tight ends. They have talented players on the team, that can get the job done. But the offensive line has to hold up in order for them to be able to make some plays. I mean, we know that Kendall Carr last week made a spectacular catch for the first touchdown of the game. And we know that, if you give these guys opportunities, they will knock it out of the park. We know the explosiveness of Jared Brown, not just in the passing game, but also on special teams, being able to flip the field. This has to be a team effort in order for you to beat the Panthers on Thursday night. You cannot be making mistakes. You can't get fumbles. You can't allow them to get the ball on short fields. You have to make sure that you're doing everything right in order for you to be able to win this game. This is a conference game. This is the first conference game for the Chants this season. Both teams represent the Sun Belt East. So this could have a lot to do with how the Sun Belt pans out towards the end of the season. Both of these teams feel like they have what it takes to make it to the Sun Belt Championship and become the Sun Belt champions. It's the reason why quarterback Grayson McCall felt the need to want to come back to play for Coastal, not just for the accolades, the records, but he wants to win the Sun Belt Conference.
Sun Belt Championship. That's what's left. And, I'm going to graduate from this university and, leave a legacy that's never, kind of come through Coastal Carolina. And, my ultimate goal is to leave this place better than it was when I got here. So confident that I'm going to finish this thing out the right way and leave this place better than I found it.
Look, Teal Nation, we all know how great Grayson McCall is. I mean, he mentioned that he's going to have every statistical record for a quarterback when he leaves Coastal Carolina. But this guy wants to win it all. He wants to show that he is the best. It's one thing to just put up the numbers. It's another thing to leave a legacy that can't be replicated. And that's what's on his mind. But it all starts with a game winning against Georgia State and, taking command of the Sun Belt East. And this is a wide open conference. I mean, Coach Beck talked about it in his press conference about how deep the Sun Belt Conference is, and you got to bring your big boy pants.
You want to be in contention for a championship football in the Sun Belt Conference, you got to win. You got to win. Every game's going to be tough. Our conference is extremely tough. And so you've seen it throughout college football even this year with our conference. And you got to come to play every week, and anybody can beat anybody on any week. And so it's very important for us. The message was, again, just the game's still about us. We got to block, we got to tackle, we got to throw, we got to catch, we got to execute, right? We got to protect the football. Defense, we got to get the football. Like, you do those types of things, you play fast and you play hard, you're probably going to like your chances.
In order for you to get to your final destination, in order for you to win championships, in order for you to be considered one of the best teams assembled in your respective conference, you got to win games like this. These are the games that separate the boys from the men. These are the games that separate the good from the great. And these are legacy building games here. These are two teams that are equally matched, and one or two mistakes in this game can cost you. So Coastal has to be ready. I know Georgia State will be ready. I know you will be ready. And I think that this is going to be a really good Thursday night game. Once again, it will be televised on national television. Should make for a great offensive explosion. Like I said, both teams can score points, but the defense definitely has to show up and make stops when necessary. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the Coastal Carolina Georgia State game that's taking place on Thursday night? What are your keys to victory? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the Two Teal podcast. Really do appreciate it. Shouts out to Teal Nation. Continue repping your team to the fullest. Shines up. Teal Nation stand up. Till next time, take care.